welcome to another edition of the Midwest Motorsports Review. We're here at the Machesney Park Mall this afternoon to take in the surroundings of the Rockford Speedway car show, racing car show here at the Machesney Park Mall. Our guest today to kick off the opening show this afternoon, we welcome to the program Derek Nichols. Derek, 14 years of age, a 3-year veteran of go-kart racing. Welcome to the show, Derek.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Derek, you're 14 years old. You attend Hoffman Middle School in the Harlem School District. You're currently an 8th grader, am I correct?
Yes.
First of all, like all good parents want to know and people want to know, are you doing good in school?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good in school this year.
Okay, grades very important. And along with that comes the opportunity to race this good-looking go-kart that we have behind us. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about this go-kart that you have.
Okay. Well, I race at Pearl City, Illinois. It's a dirt track oval.
Dirt track?
Yeah, dirt track.
I thought go-karts were raced on asphalt all the time.
Well, you can race on asphalt, and we also race on dirt, and you have a special setup for tires and everything for a dirt track.
Okay.
And I personally think it's a lot funner.
Okay. Kind of the kart's always kind of loose on the edge, so to speak, am I right?
Yeah.
Now you come from a family and you're associated with people that are longtime racers here at the Rockford Speedway. Tim Lose comes to mind. He's a relative of yours. As a matter of fact, he's your crew chief.
Yeah, he's my crew chief. He does most of the work on the kart, him and my stepdad.
How important it is to have your uncle part of your racing program as your crew chief. What kind of advice does he give you as you prepare for a race, as you're in competition?
Well, if I'm doing pretty bad in a race and I get back out, after the race he'll tell me what I did wrong and how to fix it, because he knows from experience in racing, of course.
Okay. Now, of course, going back to school here at Hoffman Middle School, do a lot of your fellow classmates are interested in what you do?
Well, a lot of them really don't know what go-kart racing really is. They just think you go out to a track where you pay to race and, yeah, have fun. But most of them just like to go Rockford Speedway. They're not really interested in this.
But they don't know how much fun they're missing.
Yeah.
Earlier we alluded, tell us a little bit about your car, what kind of engine you have, the class that you drive in, about the suspension, the tires, the steering. Just give us a kind of a short run-through of your go-kart.
Well, this is a Madsum racing kart. It's a 2001-year-old kart brand. I race a
Briggs & Stratton motor?
Yeah, Briggs & Stratton motor. It burns alcohol for gas, and it can reach to about 60 miles per hour on straightaway.
So it has a top end speed of about 60, 65 miles per hour.
Yeah.
You haven't had it that fast, have you?
Well, last year I raced at a track called Norway, and on the back stretch there, it was so long to where you were wide open for mostly half the stretch, so I was pretty much, at about halfway.
You were telling me off camera that one week you kind of crashed kind of bad and you came back the following week to do what?
To win the feature.
Was that your first feature?
Yeah, it was when I was in bot stock.
That had to be very exciting, very satisfying to you.
Yeah, it was.
Could you tell us about that race?
Well, I started out front, and all the faster guys were in the back, so I was kind of nervous that they were going to come up there and pass me. I was still nervous from the last week. But when they got down to the last lap, I was still out in the lead, and I saw a guy behind me trying to pass me, but I just kind of blocked him on the last turn, and I won the feature.
Excellent driving skills that you have at this young age to hold off some tough pressure from that kart behind you trying to take over the lead.
Yeah.
A couple other questions here. Where do you feel that go-kart racing is going to take you in years to come?
Well, I always talk about it. I don't know if it'll come true, but I really want to race in NASCAR when I grow up.
That's a lot of young drivers and even veteran drivers compete out here at Rockford Speedway. Perhaps that's their dream as well.
Yeah.
You have many sponsors. It takes a few dollars to maintain a go-kart as well as the stock cars that are in the mall here. Tell us who your sponsors are and what kind of role do they play in your program.
Well, most of our sponsors give us about $200 to $300, and we go out and they help us buy like parts for the kart, new bodies. And one of our sponsors is actually here located in the mall, Matt's Hangar. And we got Metro Machinery, H&M Machining, Machesney Park Secretarial Services, and Roscoe Automotive. Those are our basic sponsors.
Well, that's good. I'm sure you invite them out to the races, and
Yeah.
they came and be an active part of your program. Is there still room for more sponsors on your cart?
Actually, we do got a spot on the side panel over there.
Okay.
There's still an open side panel that we could use a sponsor for, maybe.
And if there is a sponsor out there who is listening, someone that's listening that would like to sponsor a young man that's in his young years of racing and has a promising future, how do they contact you?
Well, they can call my grandpa. He's usually always home. And they can contact him at 633-5872.
And is there some other people in your organization that you'd like to give special mention to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my mom and dad. They really helped me out. My mom was the thing I was kind of worried about because she was always like telling me that not to get hurt and everything. And I didn't really think she'd let me go out, but she did, so I really thank her.
Now I got to ask, this is going to be kind of putting you on the spot here. Has there been a time that you've been really scared?
Well, probably the only time I was really scared was when I got ran over.
What?
When I got ran over the week, I had a
Oh
car
my.
jump on top of me, and then the next week I came back to win the feature, like I said.
That was the one, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we see them all the time crashing real hard on TV, but they come back. And your safety equipment, I see that you have your helmet here.
Yes.
This is a regulation helmet certified by the racing industry, and that's got to be your number one protection.
Yeah, because actually when I crashed, luckily for the helmet, because my head was laying on the motor when it happened, so if it wasn't for the helmet, I could have been pretty burned on my
Well,
head.
certainly a trying moment for you. Any closing comments that you would like to say to our viewers out there?
I'd like to thank all my sponsors for helping us out through this, and my mom, dad, stepdad, aunts and uncles, grandpa and grandma especially.
And once again, you're racing where?
At Pearl City and next to Freeport.
Just adjacent to Freeport, Illinois, up the road here about 30 miles. Ladies and gentlemen, pleased to bring you a very promising young driver. He starts his career in go-karts like many drivers have, and come to think of a person by the name of Jeff Gordon. Certainly started in the lower ranks, so some big names that you're pursuing. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Derek Nickel, 14-year-old from Machesney Park, Illinois.
Thank you.
He did good. Welcome once again to Midwest Motorsports Review, brought to you by FRP, Franklin Racing Productions. We're happy to be here today at the Machesney Park Mall, where we're celebrating once again opening day here at the Rockford Speedway, and opening day being the car show where things get underway for the year 2002 racing season. On the show today, we have a change of venue, so to speak. The ladies being represented very early in the program. We bring to the microphone a veteran driver of many, many years. Matter of fact, it's 11, I've been told. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Wanda Dobbs. Welcome, Wanda, to the show. Nice to have you here.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Wanda Dobbs, racing now in her 12th season here at the Rockford Speedway. Quite a few years ago, a lot of laps, and so we can pretty much call you a veteran driver.
Pretty much.
Pretty much so. And she's a very quiet spoken lady. She doesn't get carried away on things, but Wanda, you started off in the Wing Women on Wheels division here at the Rockford Speedway, and some of your family members in the background are cracking up on that last comment that I made there. We'll get involved in that a little bit later on, but Wanda, Wing Women on Wheels, that's where you got your start. Tell us a little bit about that.
91, I raced my first race and I won. I got out of the car.
Your very first race, you won?
My very first race, yep. I got out of the car, asked the husband if I can race. Yep, you go get your own sponsors.
So that's how it started.
What I did. Next year, I won my championship.
In your sophomore year, you won your championship there. That's incredible in the Wing Women on Wheels. And then, of course, it's been a success story ever since that part in time. However, there has been some bumps in the road. Am I correct?
Of course, everywhere.
Everywhere. Well, Wanda, you know, you enjoy racing. You race with your husband, of course, and how does that play in a role in your relationship?
It don't do much at home, but on the track, yeah. Somebody come up and slam you, no matter who it is, it bothers you. But
Well, I noticed that you've raced side by side with the best of the drivers in your particular division, and now you're racing in the Roadrunner division with the guys. There's several girls that are involved at the Rockford Speedway that race in all the divisions.
exactly, yeah. Several girls, sportsmen, short trackers, got Carrie Graves.
And there's a few others too.
Yeah.
And I know the names kind of
Yeah.
escape you at this time. They do me as well
Exactly,
too.
yep.
However, and they'll come to mind as I talk about it. As we get involved in year 2002 at the Rockford Speedway, how do you look at this season?
Well, I got a new sponsor, which is 5 and Drive, Denny Lemons. Hopefully, I'm going for a Roadrunner Championship. That's what I'm going for. I know it's a big thing. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I am going to try for it.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I think you got a pretty good shot at it. You're a
try.
very aggressive driver, and it's something that I feel that you kind of will.
I'm going to try
Reach.
with everything I got. I believe there's 36 races, if not 36, 39. A lot of races, twice a week, but I'm going to be there.
Now, Wanda, when you win a race, especially a feature event, you kind of get a little excited.
Every race is a new race to me. It's my first race. Every win, it's my first win. That's the way I look at it.
So when you pull into victory lane and start to celebrate, what is it that you do?
I get out of my car and get on a roof and do a little dance.
Little dance, kind of, what's that called, the icky shuffle or something
Yeah,
like
really,
that?
yeah, really, really.
But I'll tell you what, Wanda, I've watched you race. You've kind of bumped and grind. You're not afraid to rub shoulders with people, and I think that's a plus. But at the same time, you respect their equipment, and you don't want to see their car wrecked or anything like this, and you just take it moment by moment,
Exactly.
so to speak, race by race.
The way I look at it, pretty cars, they're beautiful. There are some beautiful cars, but your car's not going to look beautiful if you're going to go to the front of the pack, from the back. And
So you're going to be scratching it up, rubbing,
that's
exchanging
That's
a few
it.
paints.
Yep, if I want to get my picture taken.
In closing here, let me ask you, over your past 11 years and excluding your championships, can you think of one thing that really stood out in your mind in the past 11 years?
The Paul Revere race, that was a blast. It was my first one last year. That's a race without any lights. They shut the lights off 4th of July weekend. That was fun. I wanted to do it again as soon as I got out.
That is, but they tell me, the veteran drivers tell me, your eyes quickly adapt to the no lighting of the area, and you can kind of see. It's really dim.
Exactly, you can see everything. Everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Well, Wanda, on behalf of Franklin Racing Productions and, of course, the Midwest Motorsports Review, we want to wish you the best of luck for the upcoming racing season here at the Rockford Speedway. We look forward to seeing you out on the track.
All righty, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
His rookie season, his very first racing season, a young 17-year-old driver by the name of Sean Rickelman. Sean from Machesney Park, Illinois, and attends Hononegah High School. Sean, welcome to the show here today.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here. Sean, as I mentioned, you're a rookie driver, first year in the American Short Tracker division. Am I correct?
Yep.
And you come from a long line of experience. Your father raced in the division and still does race in the division, and you become one of the many father-son race teams that have competed over the years at the Rockford Speedway.
Yep. It's
Sean, a little lost for words. This is the first time he's been in front of the media as far as what to say here. But Sean, you'll relax and tell me, why do you want to race?
my dad's done it for years. It's always been a favorite sport of mine. It's something anybody can do as long as you can drive a car. You don't.
Correct, but doing the right thing at the right time comes with a lot of experience and seat time. And have you had the opportunity to do some racing or practicing?
I've practiced a couple times. I haven't really been in the car against anybody else, just see what I can do out there on the track.
And how well did you do?
Actually, I turned the same times he was turning.
Excellent. That's a good sign of things to come if you were able to compete, or at least hot lap. at the same speed that he does during an actual qualifying run. Sean, what have you learned from your father as you watched him race over the years, as you probably pit for him in the pits and served as a crew member?
I've learned that you got to be aggressive, but you can't be overly aggressive. You got to drive within your boundaries, and you can't get hot-headed about something because everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody does make mistakes, and it seems like when you do get hot-headed, you might find yourself in a much different situation where it may not be too comfortable for your finishing results. Let me ask you, as we continue here, your first race, how are you going to approach that first race?
My first one, I'm just going to lay back and get a feel for everybody else, see what they're going to do, see what my car is going to do. Just kind of get a feeling of the track.
Well, you know, they say as you do compete, to go slow means that you go fast.
Right.
And what we mean here, of course, is that you're under control, you're making consistent laps, and as a result of that, you find your way moving up to the front pretty quick.
Yeah, the hardest part is keeping your line, getting used to that.
Is there any of the drivers that seem to you kind of want to keep a close eye on and kind of watch their driving style? Do you feel intimidated by any of the drivers?
Not really. I've been friends with these guys for a lot of years now, and I feel comfortable running against them. Feel comfortable with them in the pits and everything.
Now, I understand your car is currently under construction, and it's not going to be ready for opening day. So your father is giving up his seat to allow you to run his car. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was kind of a battle. I didn't want to take him out of the track, but he insisted on it, so I decided I'd run it anyways.
Well, things could change, you know, as he gets closer to the season starting, the opening show. He may say, well, but do you think he'll do that?
I don't think he'd do that. He brought up the Miller and how his dad gave up his ride for him, so
Sure.
he's pretty into this. So
Absolutely. Well, as you look into the year 2000 racing season, we kind of like to ask all the drivers, what do they kind of foresee? How do they predict the season going for them?
a lot of them are looking for big hopes and stuff, and everybody wants big hopes, but you just got to give what you got.
So you're going to take what comes your way and learn from it and treat this rookie season of yours as kind of a sit and learn situation, am I correct?
Pretty much.
Get that seat time and
Everybody
go from
wants
there.
rookie, but doesn't always happen for everyone.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you make your way out to the Rockford Speedway on a Saturday night, look for a young driver by the name of Sean Rickelman. Sean, what number are you going to inherit?
52.
52. So the number 52 American short tracker will be circling the high bank quarter-mile track of the Rockford Speedway. Sean, thank you for being a part of our show.
Thank you.
All righty. Again to Midwest Motorsports, young driver by the name of Steve Hillary out of Machesney Park, Illinois. Steve took home championship honors in year 2001 at the Rockford Speedway in the Slammer division. Steve Hillary, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here. Congratulations on being the Rockford Speedway track champion in the Slammers division. What is the Slammers division?
The Slammer division is an entry-level division. They more or less publicize it as knock the windows out and go racing.
So it's certainly the entry level where drivers get their start, and of course they don't want drivers with lots of experience at all, just that rookie driver comes out and get their feet wet in racing.
Right. Get your feet wet and go racing.
Steve, you competed in the Slammers division for a couple years. You take home championship honors, and this year you're racing in the Rockford Speedway Roadrunner division. How do you
Right.
feel about that?
I feel pretty good about it.
And what kind of car are you going to be driving
I'm
this
going to
year?
race a 77 Chevy Impala,
Okay.
so it'll be car number 15 this year.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, towards the end of the season, did you have a chance to run with the Roadrunner boys during the National Short Track Championship or something
No,
like this?
I stayed in the Slammer all the way up until the end.
Okay, so now you're making your move up into the Slammers division. How are you approaching, or excuse me, stand to be corrected there, making the move up into the Roadrunner division? How are you going to approach this season?
I'm going to go in like I went into the Slammers, is go out there and drive and get a feel of what everybody else is like and find somebody to follow and follow them.
Okay. Now, you know, in the Slammers division, you started the race from a dead stop. Especially, you had two feature events each race night. Now you're going to be from a rolling stop. Being a rookie driver, chances are 0 points, from previous seasons in the Roadrunner division. Obviously, you probably start up front. Does that concern you at all?
A little bit. It's going to be a little hard adjusting to the rolling start and being able to watch the flagman when he comes and tells us, turn 4, you get going.
Absolutely. Steve, some of your sponsors that are helping you along the way here.
I have Napoli's Pizza out of Machesney Park this year. I have Keiko Photography, which is in the Machesney Park Mall. I have Weiss's Engine out of Pecatonica, Illinois.
So some good support
Right.
in your young years of experience in auto racing at the Rockford Speedway. As I look back upon your championship, what do you think you've learned in the Slammers division that will carry over into the Roadrunner division?
To be patient. To be patient and watch what you're doing.
As you mentioned the word patience, I think that's the key to success for
Right.
all drivers, is because, sure, we want to run up front and be the leader as fast as we can, but it seems to me that many veteran drivers kind of let the nutrition of the track take hold, and drivers dropping out and the crashes that occur to kind of move up, and then the second half of the race really make the charge to the front.
Yeah. Starting from the back of the pack every race, being, first in points, you have to learn to be patient to get your way up to the front.
As we go into the year 2002, once again, here at the Rockford Speedway, you find yourself in your rookie season, as we have mentioned. When do you think you'll win your first race? When do you think that time will come?
It might take 5 races, but I have a feeling it'll come pretty soon.
Obviously,
I'm pretty confident
in a heat race,
Right, in
I
a
would
heat
think.
race, yes.
Yeah. Do you think you'll compete in the novelty races at all, or some of the other specialty races?
I don't have any plans of racing in the novelty races this year. Knowing it's my rookie season in the division, I want to get out there and get a feel of what the oval is before I get into the novelty races.
They say, and they have said for many years now, that if you can race at Rockford Speedway successfully, you can race anywhere in the United States.
That's what I hear.
And many famous drivers have come to the Rockford Speedway and been a part of their racing program. Any of those drivers your idols?
Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And he was there one time, along
time.
with Richard Petty and a few
Right.
other famous race car drivers. Well, Steve, we want to wish you the best of luck for the upcoming racing season at the Rockford Speedway. You come in with some big credentials, some big shoes to fill. Champion of the Slammers division, now in the Roadrunners division. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Nice to have you in the show. Back with you, the program that is dedicated to the local racer. We're here at the Machesney Park Mall for the Rockford Speedway opening event for year 2002, its annual car show. And my guest today is a veteran driver of many years, Gene Morocco. Gene, welcome to the show. Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, if you take a look at Gene, he's got a little gray hair here, and he's kind of casual sitting back here. Gene, you're one of the nicest drivers out on the track. Welcome to the show. Nice to have you here.
Nice to hear that.
You got a beautiful car. Year after year, you work hard over the winter producing your car. And a little bit later on, we're going to take some still shots of your car. And number 98 is certainly a famous number.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. And then to come to mind is John Knaus,
Correct.
who had that number for many years. And
Also Wilbur.
and Bobby Wilberg, also champions of the Rockford Speedway for many, many years. Gene, they call you Crash. Now, I like to think that there's a reason for that, and you are perhaps one of the few drivers to come in contact with the turn 3 point, and that had to be a very scary moment for us all. We have some video on it. We'll perhaps show that in our program a little bit later on. But that happened during the Bahama Brackets. Can you take us back to that time in your racing career here?
Well, I was running behind, I believe it was the 96 car, I believe. And I saw a little puff of smoke. going into turn 2. And then on the back straight, I saw a big puff of smoke, but then it was too late. I was behind him and in the oil. And there was no steering and there was no brakes.
So you went straight
to
into
point.
the famous point of the Rockford Speedway. And however, you know, I must tell our viewers that the Rockford Speedway has done everything in their power to protect that point, and many drivers have crashed at that point very hard and walked away with no harm. We were pleased that that happened to you. Your car must have been in the air 10, 15 feet, the nose heavily smashed in, and then as you came back down to the racing surface, you were crashed in from behind. That
Right.
had to have been a scary moment too.
Actually, not for me, because I had my eyes closed through the whole thing.
You had your eyes closed, you were hanging on for dear life. You were upside down, 10 feet in the air, and it certainly was a shocking event. But we're glad that you're here with us today and being a part of the show. Getting back to the racing scene with your race car, what are you going to campaign this year?
I'm just going to go out and have a little fun. I don't think I'm going to worry about the points quite as much because I am a little bit older and have a family and grandkids. But we are going to have fun, and if the points are there, they're there.
Absolutely, and that's what I like about your racing style. You know, you're a very strong competitor. You do take it serious, but you're putting everything into perspective, family being first, and then your hobby is racing a second. However, I know that if it comes down to a point where it's time for you to win a race, you're going for it.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
How did you get started in auto racing?
Actually, I don't think I'm really a veteran because it only started 3 years ago.
Well, then the age must, but you're pretty young. You're a young driver, am I right?
If you
In
want to
turn,
say
oh,
so.
I'll tell you, I envy you. I'd give anything to get out there and race with the guys and the gals, and of course, you have an excellent racing career. Even though we're talking a few years, you certainly presented yourself very well.
I enjoy being a clean driver. Some people think they have to hit you every time they pass you, but I think you can still win and win clean.
Absolutely, and you're once again, I believe you're running an Oldsmobile this year.
Correct. We downsized to a metric.
You mean to tell me you didn't fix up that car last year that you crashed into the point with?
Well, my pit chief has been telling people that it's the same car, but it's 4 feet shorter.
It's the same car, but 4 feet shorter. As we come into the year 2002 here at the Rockford Speedway, I'd have to ask this question. Roadrunner is one division.
Correct.
Moving up into the Sportsman division or the late model division, American Short Tracker division as well, do you feel that that's part of your future plans?
No, not really, and the only reason would be because Roadrunner class is affordable, and I'm having just as much fun as if I were spending a lot of money racing.
And you can race 2 nights a week.
Right, that's true.
That's
Now,
got to
the
be...
bike doesn't go too much for that.
No.
But
Tell us about some of your sponsors. Very important to mention that as we...
okay, we have Snap-on, which is our distributor at our shop, and he was with me from the beginning, and also Cash in the Nick of Time was with us last year, and he's with us again. Rosenquist Well Drilling, he's a fellow I bowl with.
Uh-huh. So you bowl too?
Yes.
Okay. I notice on the right front fender here it says Classic Limousine.
I dress up sometimes.
I see. I just kind of... Is that what it says?
No, that's classic formal wear.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I should have realized that. So you're going to come to the race in a tux? That would be cool.
My pit chief did say it'd be nice if you could have a race suit made out like a tux.
Well, yeah.
But everybody already thinks I have money, and I don't.
No. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring this program to a close, and it's been my pleasure to have Gene Morocco, one of the cool drivers in the Roadrunner division, to be a part of our racing scene at the Rockford Speedway. Gino, good luck.
Well, thank you very much.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Enjoying the season opener event for the Rockford Speedway for year 2001. This event, of course, is the racing car show here at the mall. Franklin Productions bringing you this broadcast. And with us in the studio, our makeshift studio, we'd like to welcome Brett McCoy from Belvedere, Illinois. Brett, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're happy to have you here. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, Brett McCoy races in the American Short Tracker, two-time track champion at the Rockford Speedway back in 1999, as well as last season in year 2001. Brett McCoy, the season champion. Back in 1999, Brent took home the honors of regional champion, competing against drivers from 90 different racetracks around the greater, of course, the United States,
Right.
Brent. That certainly had to have been a tremendous honor for you.
Yeah, it was. We went into that season, at that point I hadn't won the championship yet, and we'd been so close so many different times, you know, lost about every way you could lose. Came down to the last night, and we'd clinched the season championship, and we were thinking a little about the region, but it's so hard to win, and just, you know, to be able to take that trip to Florida and walk across the stage with those nine other guys as regional champions, that was quite an honor.
Certainly is an honor to have a local driver, of course, a driver that competes regularly here at the Rockford Speedway, to take such high honors, you know, throughout the United States here. Your first championship back in 1999 certainly had to be a highlight of your young racing career. A lot of that, your father was responsible for that. He gave you your break in the American Short Tracker division. Of course, you had to do the driving. He was there to kind of coach you along the way.
Yeah, he, back when we got started, I raced a couple times in 1994, but in 95 when I did start, he kind of just stepped to the side and took the car that wasn't quite as good as the one that I was driving, and went from a race role to kind of a car owner role, and the dad,
Sure.
really, you know.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
just ever since I started, he's given me everything that we needed to go out there and race competitively.
Now, when you first broke into the racing scene, of course, at that point in your time, your father was racing full-time and pouring in a lot of energy into his own program. You pitted for him, obviously, learning the ropes from that standpoint.
Yeah, I've been around the race cars since I was probably 4 or 5 years old when he started. Just being able to go down into the pits with him, help on the car, and learn from what he was doing, and then take some of my ideas and incorporate it into it, made it, the time that I stepped into the car to start driving, I knew what to do right away, you know. If the car was loose or tight, whatever, I already had the knowledge to know how to adjust it, so that definitely helped out a lot.
Well, that certainly cuts down on the research and development, so to speak, where
Yes.
you take your time to figure things out. In year 2001, last racing season, you did it again. You won the season championship. Now, winning one championship is one thing. Pulling off a double championship now certainly has to be a big feather in your hat.
Yeah, it was, especially seeing as we started in late model last year. We raced one day in that, and, you know, some sponsor things didn't work out for us, and, you know, the death of Dale Earnhardt kind of led me to reevaluate my racing goals a little bit and go back to where we were having fun. And we went into that last year just, you know what, we're going to go race and try to win some races and have a good time, and came down to the last night, and we ended up winning a championship. And it was totally unexpected, which I honestly think made it a little bit better than the first one. We were all so excited about it. It was great.
If I'm not mistaken, it really came down to virtually the last 3 races of the race season before the change in seasonal points was
Yep.
taken by you, and certainly I believe second place went to Dave Wagner, am I correct?
Yeah, we beat him by 14 points. It came down to the last race of the year, and bumping and banging a little bit back and forth, and you couldn't race against a guy any nicer or better competitor than Dave Wagner, though. You know when you're racing against Dave, he's out there and he's going to race you clean, and there's nothing to worry or be concerned with.
Well, I know Dave's car is here, and he's getting ready for the new season, and he's up north right now snowmobiling up in Minnesota, trying to take a little R&R, a little
Yeah.
vacation before the season starts here. But let's take a look at season year 2002 at the Rockford Speedway for you. What kind of plans do you have? Of course, you'd like to back it up with another season championship, but every driver has different hopes and dreams.
Yeah, we're going to go all out this year to try to get the short tracker championship. If we're successful, I'll be the first 3-time short tracker champion. So that's our main goal. We do have a late model that we plan on racing 3 times this year. We'll see how that goes, but I think the main focus is going to be on getting our 3rd championship.
Speaking of the late model division, now you came out in year 2001 in the late model division, And, you know, I understand your feelings about Dale Earnhardt and that sort of thing, but I just don't think your heart was in it at that time.
No, it definitely wasn't. It was, you know, the whole off season, the season before, we thought we would be more successful than we were. I guess when you get used to winning a bunch of races in one class and you step up, it's kind of a reality check because all those guys have been doing that all the time and we hadn't.
Right, right.
So we got frustrated, and then, you know, the deal that happened in February with Dale, and we weren't going to race. The only reason or way I was going back to the racetrack was in a different car, different division.
Sure.
So, I mean, otherwise we were going to be sitting in the grandstands watching last year.
Certainly an emotional time for you. Let's go back to your championships now, your regional championship, your first championship in 1999, and then topping it off in year 2001 with your second season championship. What kind of impact has that have on your racing program? What has those accomplishments done for you?
Sponsors, you know, unbelievable the amount of help you get once you prove to people, you know, we're capable of doing this. We're going to be in the front, you know. This is the car you want your name on. And as far as sponsor help, has been unbelievable. It's that the recognition from the Speedway, you know, the Speedway is great to all their drivers. You couldn't race at a better racetrack as far as I'm concerned. It's just been just the recognition, I think, and the help from the sponsors and the race fans has been.
Well, while
great.
we have this opportunity, this is a good time for you to kind of mention a few of your sponsors that you do have.
This year we picked up some new ones, actually. We have Jack Wolf, Chrysler Pontiac.
Excellent.
Honeywell, First Staffing, Family Optical Centers, Doc's Upholstery. We got a bunch of good people on board this year, so we're looking forward to it.
Well, we certainly, on behalf of Midwest Motorsports Review, want to wish you the best of luck for the upcoming racing season. And ladies and gentlemen, this very well could be your first three-time track champion in the American Short Tracker division. Brett McCoy, best of luck to you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you enjoyed the clips that we had of the cars on display here at the Machesney Park Mall in Machesney Park, Illinois, for the upcoming season at Rockford Speedway for year 2002. Joining us on the program this afternoon is Doug Bennett. Doug races in the late model division. And Doug, we'd like to welcome you to our show, and it's good to see you out here. Your car is looking really great.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. We always try to make the mall show every year with our cars and show support for our sponsors.
Absolutely, and you have a great sponsor too. And Doug is pretty much known as Doug the Toolman Bennett, and sponsored by Retool of Rockford, Illinois, and certainly been a very strong supporter of you over the years.
He's a great guy. I mean, we can't ask for a better sponsor as far as Dave from Retool. I mean, he's given us everything we've needed to move up to the late model division, actually, and we're looking forward to another year.
Absolutely. Last year you campaigned in the late model division, but the year before that you cut your teeth in the Grand National Sportsman division. You had an outstanding show for yourself throughout the season. Let's take a look back at that racing season for you in the Grand National Sportsman.
We had a real strong year. I mean, the Sportsman division we were sort of looking forward to a championship, but we didn't quite make that. We finished third overall in the season. We were coming down pretty strong near the end of the year and had some problems with a couple races left, and sort of took us out of the championship. But we had a good year, and like I said, that really was our goal, and it was fun. I mean, Sportsman is an excellent division.
Well, as I look back on that season 2 years ago, throughout the season, you were really up front there battling out for that feature win week after week, and Lady Luck sometimes caught up with you, and you had some DNFs which kind of hurt your overall point standing. But basically, you had a real strong season.
Real strong season. I mean, we were always in the top five, except for the DNFs, and we were just at the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess.
That does happen to many drivers. Now let's go into this racing season. You got racing in late models last year. You did fairly well there as well.
We didn't do quite as well as we had expected, but we're learning. The crew is learning the car. We had quite a few problems with the car overall, but we are really looking forward to a new year and putting 2001 behind us, actually, and moving on.
Absolutely. Of course, over the winter season here, you probably spent a great deal of time preparing your car for this coming season. Tell us about your new car for year 2002.
It's a 2002 Ford Taurus. It's running a jammer motor, left-hander chassis. We got some great sponsors on the car as far as Retool.
Speaking of sponsors, who are they?
Okay, we got Retool of Rockford, Pays Auto Center, they're here in Rockford also. Agape Builders, they just came on board this year. Thompson's Transmissions, they've been on board for the last 4 years with me. They've been a real good sponsor also. That's it for right now. But
and there's certainly room for more.
there is room for more.
No
We're always
question.
looking for more sponsors.
So Doug Bennett campaigning his 2002 Ford Taurus for the upcoming season here at the Rockford Speedway. Doug, what is your ultimate goal here? We know that every driver would like to win the championship, but we always like to talk about being realistic about things. You're in your sophomore year in the late model division this year. What is your goal?
I would be really happy with a top 5 finish for the overall season. That would make us extremely happy. Ultimately, if we finish in the top 10, the crew and myself will be just real happy.
Doug, last year's champion, Ricky Bilderbeck, I'm sure you watched him race not only from the pit stands, but also in the race itself. Have you learned anything from the last year's season champion?
Yeah, Ricky, he's a great guy. I mean, we'd go over and ask him questions about the car, what's going on with it, and he gave us a lot of help throughout the year. Short track, he gave us excellent help, and he's a great champion, and we're proud to have him at Rockford.
Your impressions of Rockford Speedway?
A tough track. I mean, everything's tight. We have, you're rubbing. You're always rubbing, it seems like. And some people rub you a little harder than others, but it's tight, but it is a fun track.
We made this comment in other interviews, and we said that if you can race at Rockford Speedway and be fairly successful, you can go anywhere in the United States and race a short track.
That's what I've heard. I have not experienced another track other than Rockford, but we're hoping to go to La Crosse this fall, experience their half mile up there, and maybe Madison, with any luck.
Well, Doug, we certainly want to extend our best wishes for this upcoming season for you. Well, I also want to thank you for being a part of our show. Good luck to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay. This is the very lovely Shauna Frisch. Shauna, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here today. Shauna racing in the Wing Women on Wheels division, and she's involved in her rookie year. She took to the track 2 years ago and raced one race, and as she did so, she came home as a victor.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you.
Thank
You're not too talkative today, are you?
you.
Kind of nervous.
Kind of nervous, yeah.
Shauna, as we look into the year 2002 here at the Rockford Speedway and your rookie season, your true rookie season, give me some of your early thoughts about your racing program. What are you kind of anticipating? Your husband currently driving in the Grand National Sportsman division.
He actually sold his car last year, so he's not racing Grand
He's not
National
racing this year.
No, he's going to go to different tracks this year and see how it is, like in Jefferson and Columbus.
Okay,
and
so he's
stuff.
kind of sprouting his wings, so to speak, and get involved in racing elsewhere. As you approach the season, have you spoke to him about what line to take and that sort of thing? And
Well, when I raced my first time, we rented the track and everything. So we're renting the track this year again, April 3rd. So he's going to take me. I haven't drove that car yet, so I don't know how it's going to handle or how fast it's going to be. So
this is kind of an unwritten book, but that's perhaps the best way to go, because as that book is unwritten, it allows you to take in all the information you need, process that, and of course make the best out of it. I look off to my right, I see your car here.
Yeah.
Off to my right. You guys done a beautiful job like you do on all your race cars.
it took a lot of work, but we got it done.
The Frisch family involved in racing at the Rockford Speedway for many, many years, and kind of take us back. Who's been involved?
His dad, I think his uncle
Your
was
husband?
the one. Yeah, my
Okay.
husband's uncle, Johnny Robinson, was the one who I think started it all, I believe. And then his dad got into it, and then his older brother. And then when he turned 16, he raced in '97, and then he's been racing ever since. And that's where I came into play. My Aunt Wanda and my Uncle Derek raced for years too. And
So
that's how I started going to the track, is with them. And
Absolutely. I remember seeing you there a few years ago, and
yeah.
knee-high to a grasshopper, so to speak, but you certainly have grown up to be a very lovely lady, and we certainly hope that you have a good season.
I plan on it. I'm going for Rookie of the Year, and of course, like everybody, they go for championships. So
Well,
I'm looking forward to
that was my
everything.
next question for you is, how do you look at year 2002? How do you look at this rookie season? How
Well,
are you going to approach it?
I'm going to try to go for championship, like everybody out there. There's not a lot of women. There's more women this year than there has been, I heard. So
Do you foresee yourself maybe progressing up into another division?
No, I don't see
Not at this
myself.
time,
I
a little
don't.
too
I don't
early.
want to race with the men. Really, I just want to race with the women.
Okay.
I don't plan on doing it for the rest of my life, but I plan on racing a couple years.
Well, Shauna, on behalf of Midwest Motorsports Review, we certainly want to thank you for taking the time and stopping by and visiting with us, and we certainly want to wish you the best of luck for this upcoming racing season.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here. Well, race fans, it's that time of the afternoon that we must bring this program to a close as the Machesney Park Mall is about to close down in a few minutes, and the cars will make their way back to their home bases where they'll make final preparations for the upcoming 2002 racing season at the Rockford Speedway. Of course, Rockford Speedway opening up on Sunday afternoon. That's right, you heard me. Sunday afternoon, April 14th is their opening show. And this was so to accommodate in a case of cold weather. At least the sunshine from the Sunday afternoon will keep you warm in the grandstands. Racing will begin at 1:30 with qualifying right around the noon hour. And of course, the 2002 racing season opens up officially with the April 5th and 6th, 7th Remax Spring Classic Weekend. On tap there would be Friday, April 5th, will be practice session, free grandstands for everyone to come and watch the early racing season get underway. Of course, Saturday, April 6th will be the qualifying beginning at 5 p.m. A full slate of cars will be on hand for that afternoon of racing. The NASCAR Grand National Sportsman of the Rockford Speedway will also be part of the racing program. On Sunday, April 7th, fan photo session gets underway at 11 a.m. in the morning with the National Short Track Series Championship Meltdown 100 be taking place. Then the NASCAR Remax Tour Insight Digital 250, 250 laps of hard-charging racing at the Rockford Speedway. In the event that you would like further information in reference to Rockford Speedway, you can get on the internet, www.rockfordspeedway.com, for the latest information about drivers and schedules. And of course, if you need to call the Rockford Speedway, area code 815-633-1500. So ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure. My name is Jim Ambroso. So